This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan. With your host, Bradley Summers. And get the latest from Alpena Community College with ACC President Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Bradley Summers, and this morning I have a very special guest, Ted Fines from the Habitat for Humanity for Northeast Michigan.
Hi, Brad. How are you?
Good, Ted. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, thank you so much for being here.
Yep.
First off, I've been reading all of the wonderful things that are happening at Habitat in the newspaper, all of the grant news, but the big one I want to say is congratulations on becoming the Leader of the Year through the Community Economic Development Association of Michigan. That you were just bestowed last week.
Last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday in Lansing?
In Lansing.
In Lansing. And I personally know how much of a hard worker you are, what you're doing to bring advocacy and attention to Northeast Michigan, and what you're doing and your team are doing is absolutely incredible. And I just want to say congratulations.
Well, thank you for mentioning team.
Yeah.
Because that's what it takes. And a great board. The support there is incredible. So it's really a team award as far as I'm concerned. My name's on there, but it really is Habitat for Humanity, Northeast Michigan.
And I know you don't do it for the accolades. You don't do the work that you do.
No,
well, but it's bringing that attention to Northeast Michigan.
That was my goal from day one. I think I've mentioned this before. When I took over, it's been over 8 years now. That was my goal, to get some recognition for Northeast Michigan, because we are forgotten at times. So it's really incumbent upon me individually and us as a Habitat affiliate we need to engage with the powers that be. So I think in 8 years we've done a pretty decent job.
Yeah,
so far.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Yeah, really.
And with that advocacy and, having more attention in our area, it's bringing grants. It's bringing more resources to Alpena. I know recently the Habitat for Humanity was awarded a grant through MISHDA.
Yes,
and
$10 million.
$10 million.
Yep.
And there was also was it Meyer that also contributed?
A whole host of different companies contributed towards that. But that state-approved appropriation, which is now available to all the affiliates, in our particular case, we just received our first $100,000 out of that $10 million, and we're going to use it towards affordable housing within Northeast Michigan. And we're hoping for the second draw later this year of $100,000. So that's just one of a multitude of grants that we've been able to be successful.
Yeah, and with bringing those grants here, we're seeing it in the community. The project that's just finishing up over by McCray Park, was it Merchant Street?
Merchant Street,
yeah.
Yes. We just closed on that a few days ago, and now it is a reality for this young couple.
That's incredible, because I know what an impact the family on Washington is already seeing.
Washington, we just closed earlier in May, a house in Harrisville that they've been working on for 5 years.
Wow.
5 years it took them to get to that point to close a few weeks ago. I can go on and on Jefferson Street a few months ago, the first-time homeowners in their 50s.
Wow.
This has an impact, not only the stability that it creates, but the creating value, creating revenue, creating a source that you can build on. So again, renting, home ownership is not for everyone. But on the other hand, you have to look at the pluses also. There's a great responsibility to be a homeowner, but it also creates wealth.
Yeah.
And you can look at statistics, and renters can rent all their lives, and they're not creating the wealth that they can pass on or live after they're retired. So I think it's really important to look at your options. And this is just an option. We're not saying that home ownership is for everyone. And not everyone qualifies. Again, we're not giving houses away. You have to qualify for a mortgage. You have to have the need, you have to partner with us, and you have to make that mortgage payment.
And they have sweat equity in the project.
And they put sweat equity, and that's part of the, when they join with us, they become responsible to be part of that house construction. And it just makes them it's more impactful at the end.
Yeah, and you know, we've discussed before too, and you have a great resource on your Facebook page about the wealth gap between renters and homeowners, and you know, how our area has, you know, aging homes that were, as you said before the show tape, we were talking that a lot of, what was it, 70% of the homes are built before
75% before 1970. 75% of our housing stock in Alpena County alone was built before 1970.
Yeah, and for people to get out of, you know, to get away from that gap and to build that wealth, you know, home ownership is a great way to do that.
Yeah, and the other thing with housing, so we were building houses so much differently 50 years ago, okay? We weren't insulating them. We didn't high efficiency furnaces and hot water heaters. We weren't taking advantage of the science that we have today to make a house more efficient. So not only do we try and build a house as affordable as possible with the help of the Home Depots and the grants that we take advantage of, but we want to build a house that people can afford to stay there, that it doesn't cost them an arm and a leg. They heat the house in the wintertime when it's 10 below zero.
Yeah.
So try to heat a house that was built in 1923 versus one that was built in 2024.
Yeah, when they use newspaper as insulation.
Yes, exactly. You know, so there's a big difference. Yes, you can buy a house a heck of a lot cheaper, sometimes $75,000 to $100,000, but you're going to put $75,000 or $100,000 back into it also.
Yeah, and I think it's really important for people to understand too that, you know, that home ownership is the apex. Like, you want to get to a point where it is important and valuable because they're understanding more of the ownership of it.
Well, it's the stability. You create the stability not only for yourself, but if you have children, the impact it has on children. You see that at Boys and Girls Club. The children who come from broken families, who don't have a stable home, versus one who have mom and dad and a house, especially that house that they know they can go there, they can have their own room possibly, and it's just security and stability.
Well, and Ted, you know, we started the show is I can't thank you enough, you know, for the things that you are doing for Northeast Michigan to bring that attention here and have others understand the dream of home ownership and supporting that family structure and doing the things that you and your team are doing here.
The journey's been fun.
It's fun, and I'm glad I get to play a small part in it. I'm glad we get to have these conversations, and I'm always happy to see you in the newspaper, on the radio, you know, and just being able to see the great things that are happening for Northeast Michigan.
Thank you. I appreciate your support.
Thank you so much for being here. Stay tuned after the break for Michelle Stima from Hope Shores Alliance.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, president of Alpena Community College. I'd like to take our time together this morning to share a couple of things that happened this week that were, I think, important and positive for ACC. The first happened Wednesday afternoon. It was a virtual commencement for all the folks who have graduated from the Reconnect program. And that's about 7,000 people statewide. Reconnect is a program that was created by the governor's office in partnership with her Office of 60 by 30, and now this MyLeap agency that's been created. But the premise of Reconnect was to get folks who had a high school degree but not a college credential back into community colleges. And to do that, they originally it was folks who were 25 years and older who could apply, and if they met the criteria, and the criteria were pretty broad, just as I've described, they could get the last dollar of their tuition bill, tuition and fees, their cost of attendance, covered by Reconnect dollars. And this was helpful to a lot of folks, including many students at Alpena Community College fit that criteria. And then as the program has evolved, the age limit threshold has been lowered to 21. And now, in this current budget cycle, there's an effort to reduce the age threshold to 18, which essentially would make everyone who fits that high school completer but no college credential eligible. So the program for the first time had a virtual commencement, and the governor spoke, and she spoke about the value of having people back in the system who are getting trained for jobs that are open now, and improving their lives and improving the lives of their families. This is an undeniable part of higher education. Senator Sarah Anthony, who was very influential in creating the Reconnect program, spoke. And then 3 students spoke, 3 of the roughly 7,000 statewide who have completed their community college certificate or associate's degree through the Reconnect program. And one of them was from ACC, and he did a great job. His name is Jimmy Wright. He's currently a manager down at Lost Lake Woods in Alcona County. For those of you who are unfamiliar with it, it's on F41 on the west side of the road. It's probably 10,000 acres there. It's a beautiful resort. It's got a beautiful golf course, homes, lakes, hunting, a lodge. There's a lot to manage there, a lot of assets. And he got that position because he was able to go back to school via Reconnect. He'd kind of reached the point of, it kind of topped out at his previous employers due to his lack of a college credential. He re-enrolled at ACC, or enrolled at ACC with Reconnect funding. Had a child, or he and his wife had a child who arrived prematurely and required quite a bit of medical care. So he was able to do all of this with this help from Reconnect. And many people realize or share some aspects of Jimmy's story, and many people are somewhat blind to it, in that community college students, particularly those who are not 19 years old, straight out of high school, their limitations, what ejects them from completing, oftentimes falls into child care, sickness of a family member, car troubles, these sorts of things. There's 3 or 4 of the top items on a list at every community college, and people have to drop out. And Reconnect has prevented that or allowed that to not happen. And Jimmy did a great job describing the impact of that program and the opportunity it presented and how it led to his current position. And and he also said his child is doing fine and the family's doing great. So Jimmy did a really good job describing his journey. It was very authentic, down to earth, direct, real. We're proud of him, and proud of the state is proud of how he was able to maximize that opportunity. So that was very proud to watch that, and felt great for him. And then later in the week, I did travel to Washington, D.C. to do some lobbying on behalf of Alpena Community College, which is always interesting to me and fun in a way. And we do have a request in at the federal level for direct funding to help us in a couple of key areas. This is called congressionally directed spending in Washington. Most people know it more informally as earmarks. And these are separate appropriations that each legislator has to kind of bestow regionally. So we have 2 senators, of course, and they have, I think, 10 each that they can distribute across the state. So it's not a large number. And the reps, of course, there are more of them. Our rep, Representative Bergman, has 15. Of course, he's covering a massive footprint. So we have requests to each of those legislators to do things that would be helpful to ACC. And it's helpful to move that along, to go see these legislators and tell them why it's important, that it's real, that we're not misusing that opportunity, and we really could stand their help in bringing it home to our local community. So I did that. I spent a day on the Capitol. It's hot and muggy in Washington, D.C. You know, I got off the metro and walked up the hill to the Capitol, and they say on Capitol Hill, that's real. You know, so by the time I got there, it was fairly sweaty, like everyone else. But had a great encounter with Representative Bergman in particular. He's a great friend of ACC, and Senator Peters as well. So we're fortunate, I think, to have those three, Senator Stabenow, Senator Peters, Representative Bergman, in our corner. And so that's some of the things that happened this week at ACC. It was a good week, and I hope it was a good week for you. Have a great Memorial Day. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your hosts Bradley Summers and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at WBKB11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Queen Bee's Knees LLC production, a Morgan Murphy media company. All rights reserved.